How in the world is an ambulance considered to be of the devil? Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Tank Talk. Boy, does it make me happy to say those words. We don't get to say them very often because Brandon's out here being an Instagram mogul. I'm out here trying to play video games like a child, and that's just how life is. But welcome to another Tank Talk. My name's Keith.
My name is Brandon.
And today we are recording a Tank Talk. Let me tell you a couple reasons. A, your boy Keith and your boy Brandon, we're friends. This is like the only time we get to spend together right now. So that. B, we like talking together. That's why it's called Tank Talks. C, Brandon had a good idea that we thought was funny, and so we're going to make it. And so we're very happy about that. But today we're going to talk about a little something that both of us find interesting, and dare I say possibly both of us find a little irritating. Is that correct? Evil.
Yes.
No, excuse me. Evil is the right word. But around the world, and certainly here in conservative America and where we both live, there seems to be a tendency for people to believe that things are of the devil, that things are evil in nature and meant to destroy your life in I think in a more physical way, right? You know, we've both counted that we're Christian men, and of course we believe that there are things that one should not do. We believe that there is evil in the world, of course.
Yeah.
But we're talking about a little bit more of a direct evil. No one's going to deny and say that murder is, murder of course is evil. This is an evil thing. But there are people out there that put that evil on things that just doesn't make any sense. And maybe it does. We may find out that it does make sense. So today we're going to talk a little bit about that. Brandon has found some examples of things that were once thought to be of the devil. And we will probably have a little discussion as to, why it might be dangerous to think that way all the time.
Yeah, Keith, as you touched on, there are evil things out there. Like there are things out there that either have been, turned or used for bad, or people who just created stuff and they were like, oh, I really hope people use this for evil. So that stuff exists, but it just seems like nowadays people share a lot of articles where it's just people will say, I think this is evil. Here's some Bible verses. And it's automatically, this is evil. So I think today it was just kind of looking through and saying, this is why we need to have a little more critical thinking. That way we can push through it and say, okay, is this really evil? Because I just think the critical thinking, it helps people focus on like the real enemy instead of just focusing on like, you waste so much time trying to say this is evil.
Yeah.
When other people are going to say, I don't think that's evil.
The reason I'm dancing, Brandon, is because you said my favorite phrase twice. Critical thinking. No, not evil. Critical thinking. It's amazing to me. And I a lot of times in these things, I tend to come across as, I don't want to come across as a know-it-all. I don't feel that way. I don't want to come across as like condescending. I don't feel that way. I'm told by my wife it's a problem of mine. Sometimes I come across as condescending. That's not my goal. But it seems as though the general public, or at least the ones that you find on the internet, are lacking in the critical thinking department. A lot of people are willing to stop whenever they reach a conclusion and not try to think past it to see if that conclusion has any legs. And so here today, your top American critical thinkers, Brandon and Keith, are going to tell you about the world.
I feel like if we say that, we'll either get attacked or we'll have someone saying they need to think. I need to think for them, which is just as dangerous. Like, because I feel like a lot of times some of the most dangerous people are the ones that say these people are stupid, but you can trust us. Because even for these, like you might look it up because there's some people probably aren't watching this because Zoom is evil or webcams are Satan. We'll dive into it though. First off, this was the first thing that I pitched to you, and I was like, I don't know, let's just find out if forks are evil. Because I was just thinking, I don't know, like I guess you could probably like say that it's like the pitchfork that Satan uses. And it was true because I dove into it, found some sketchy websites. They said that a fork resembles a pitchfork. And apparently there's this thing called like the perfect trident that Satan uses, which is four-pronged instead of your classic three-pronged. So if you're using a four-pronged fork, you're really following Satan.
Okay.
Also, there's this one belief that food should only be consumed with the hands because it's from God. So if you're using another item to like utensil to like mess with it, you're saying that like God isn't good enough for you.
Yet
As
you're
well as
throwing it
yeah,
in your mouth.
and also at one point forks were banned from like entire countries, and they were only allowed to use spoons so that Satan couldn't like
Wow.
mess around with them.
Because of their resemblance to the pitchfork.
Yeah, it resembles a pitchfork.
Did
So
those countries use pitchforks? How did they
I don't
shovel
know.
hay?
It makes you wonder. Maybe they just had giant spoons they were getting the hay with.
That's
Maybe.
so crazy to me. I'm blown away. I'm blown away because that was my assumption when you said, you texted me like, yeah, it turns out forks are evil. That'll be good to talk about on the show. And I was thinking like, surely it's not because it looks like a pitchfork and people assume that the devil wields a pitchfork. Was there any scriptural reference for the devil wielding the perfect trident or something?
I tried to look at that, but that's the thing too. Is I tried to find these things in common sense websites, but I was like, you're not going to find that because there's no lunatic out there today trying to explain that forks are satanic. But this website, the guy didn't offer any scriptural evidence. He was just talking about the Satan having the perfect trident and how it's okay for us to use now, but at one point it was not.
Right. Sorry, I thought I heard it. Did you hear a loud noise through my mic?
Uh-oh.
Okay, I thought I heard a loud noise.
Did the listeners hear it?
Maybe.
If so, let Keith know.
Yeah, I also was Googling on my phone what a perfect trident is, but nothing. But forks.
Yep. Next one is the telephone. When the telephone was first introduced in Sweden, many rural folks feared it was magical and that telephone wires would attract lightning or evil spirits. Preachers outright decried the telephone as an instrument of the devil, and lines were often pulled down or sabotaged by farmers.
And please continue if there's any reasoning behind that.
Well, some of the reasoning was that like the only way that voices could travel like that was through magic, and magic was of Satan.
Okay.
So if you had a phone in your house, you were allowing Satan in your house.
All right. Gotcha. Okay, I'm following that. I'm following that. The phone is magic and magic is bad. So that again is a critical thing. I guess you don't have the internet back in the day. You don't have you're not going to use a telephone to call somebody who knows anything about it. So unless Alexander Graham Bell is in that he's a telephone guy, right? I think so.
I think so.
Yeah, so unless he's in your church group or your local crime watch, you're not going to be able to discuss with him like, "Hey, is this magic or is this science? What's going on here?" So yeah, I guess I could see that, but still what I think about with this is forks, the telephone. Think about the result. All they did was make your life easier.
Yeah.
In general, and there's certainly nothing speaking out in the Bible against making your general life, easier. It doesn't say do everything slowly because God wants you to suffer. The Bible doesn't say that. Of course, it says things will be difficult at times, but why not follow the logic all the way through and like, there's nothing wrong with my heart. There's nothing wrong with my spiritual being if I want to call my relative who lives 2 states away. Or whatever, like there's I don't think there's anything wrong with that. That doesn't.
I think like it goes back to because these keep saying these things are going to allow Satan into like your home, and like to a certain degree, if you're using items, like if you're getting like if you're just getting drunk every single day and like go like that is going to introduce other things into your family where
Yeah.
you're either not going to, at best you're not going to give them the attention and love they need, and
Right.
like worse it could go like further. But it's just this idea that it's like, if like Satan were like, he's super powerful, but at the same time it's like he's outside and he's like, well, I can't physically open this door because
Right.
I'm not a locksmith, like,
I'm
or
the
he's like, I'm
devil.
a gentleman, I'm not gonna break this window. But if
Yeah.
I can just get them to take this fork inside, or if I can just get that, like, it's almost like I get this picture that like someone says we need our phone, and then like they get a knock on the door and like it's the Bell South guy, but it's just the cartoonist Satan. So it's like he's holding a pitchfork and he's got his tail and his horns through like his hat. And he was like, y'all want the telephone? And he just goes and hooks it up and he was like, I'm gonna really enjoy you having this as Satan. And they're like, what? And he's like, oh, I meant, like, even his thing, they would say, are you Satan? He'd be like, oh, I'm Santana.
It's spelled improperly on my name tag. I picture him like ripping as soon as he plugs the phone in, like he's won, right? I picture him ripping off the clothes and his shiny red body appears before them. Like,
Just wait till you call someone on this.
yes, I'm here to stay, baby. That's one. Sorry, before you continue, that's one thing I feel when we talk about ghosts. When people talk about like malevolent spirits in your house, like the ghost of the man who was killed here is known to slam doors in the hallway and knock over vases, causing them to break. And my thought is like, just think about it. You're a malevolent ghost. You obviously have enough power to move doorways.
Mhm.
If I hate anyone who comes in the house, why don't I just pick up a knife and stab you with it? Why are all ghosts just mischievous? Why does that happen whenever you die? Like, I'm a serial killer and I'm the ghost of the serial killer who used to live in the shack. It haunts it. And you know what? I've seasoned since I've died. I just slam doors now. Aren't you scared? Are you spooked? Like, what? I don't get
the
it.
next one, this is when I started getting really good, because
Okay.
the first few I was like, okay, these are pretty good, but I remembered a website that I used to go when I was little, just to be like, what the heck are they talking about? I think the last I checked, the guy's either in prison or the US government was trying to search for him for like scamming people.
The website owner.
Yeah, so it's one of those websites you go on and you think this guy is capable of like killing me.
You're not going to
So I'm
tell
not
us what
gonna,
it is?
yeah, I'm not gonna mention any.
Okay.
Off air, I'll let you know. But
All right.
the first one he ranted about was the American court system. Um, his reasoning was Genesis 3:16. Every husband has a God-given right, or yeah, he used that one. I didn't pull up the scripture. I thought I did, but I didn't research it.
Oh no, Brandon.
You should just cut this part out and immediately go to me being like just reciting it, so people are like, "Oh, he's memorized the
Yeah.
Bible."
This primetime Emmy-winning internet show is going to suffer for this brief dead air.
So 3:16 it says, to the woman he said, I will make your pains in childbearing very severe, and painful labor you will give birth to children. With painful birth you will give birth to children. Your desire will be for your husband, and he will rule over you.
Ah.
So with that, he said that every husband has a God-given right to rule over his wife. It's all capitalized. So rule over his wife. Yes, that means he has the right to track her time, her friends, and her whereabouts, and control her spending.
Okay.
He'd even say there's a sore evil in America when a wife can rebel against her loving husband year after year in a marriage, and then punish the husband further by taking him before a heathen judge to force him to support her. Also, the court systems are corrupt because women are allowed in them. And he said that women are not capable of holding any position that would be above a man.
Okay.
So I guess really his arguing is that the court system, any grocery store you go to where the woman is not just a bag boy, any restaurant where the woman is just not a lowly, I guess even dishwasher. Because
Yeah.
if you're a waitress, you still can tell a guy like, sorry, we don't sell cherry pie. This is a Starbucks or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah. So any place where a woman is not the lowest of
Yeah.
the low.
And
Is evil.
these places are of the devil. These places are allowing Satan in. It's I would just say that's a poor reading of the scriptures, you know? I think
Yeah.
yeah, if you only read the Genesis 3, that might be what you think. But luckily there's like 99% of the book left after that. So god, yeah. And again, critical thinking. Like there's plenty of places in the Bible where women had positions of authority and positions of
Mhm.
power. And there are definitely, according to the Bible, if you're going to believe it, it seems that there are roles that are better suited for women and roles that are better suited for men in there. But these, I just don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. Like how you could think that that's that big of a problem.
And now this is the first one I came across that I'm like, yeah, when I put it at that point where I'm like, technically even a waitress is that's of the devil. You laugh, like people laugh and they're like, yeah, that's ridiculous. But now if I switch this over and I said, here's this verse, this woman is running for like mayor or governor or president, now you would start thinking like, yeah, like I think the Bible says that a woman should not. But the whole thing is that this his argument is not, okay, a woman is just cannot be the most powerful person on the planet.
Yeah.
This argument is that a man always has control over the woman. So
Yeah.
like I said, even, well, I guess you can't even have a waiter, because if a woman is ordering, so it's like you could only have female waitresses for females, because
Yeah.
if a woman ordered from the waiter,
She's telling
she
them
is
what to
now
do.
commanding him and the chef. So it's almost like you can only have a restaurant for women.
Yep, exactly. It has to be a female only restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's clear this up. I don't think either of us believe that women are of the devil.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that this claim by this crazy man on this whatever this website is you're talking about, which I am a little bit alarmed that you were scrolling through this as a child. We don't believe that this has any validity. So, a lot of times when people are like, if you believe the Bible, then what about this? Like, maybe just start at the good entry points where it will make things better and more easy to understand than go straight to, well, based on the no context reading that I'm going to use, this is what this means. And I get riled up about those things. The critical thinking, it's not there.
Yeah.
There's no critical thinking there.
Here I got two more. Here's
Tell
the
me.
next one. A coffee. Early in, I don't know what that year is, but it's a Pope's councilman asked Pope Clement the Eighth, Clemens,
Whatever.
to declare the black beverage the bitter invention of Satan.
The black beverage.
Turns out that he tried it. He was like, "Oh, this isn't that bad. I don't think it's satanic." Which also shows like a flaw if you're like, "I think this is Satan's," and then you try it and you're like,
Yeah.
Satan couldn't make coffee this good.
Yeah.
They're the way the reasoning for this is 1 Corinthians 6:12, all things are lawful unto me, but all things are not expedient to me.
Yeah.
Expedient. All things are lawful for me, but I will not be brought under the power of any. So anything that has caffeine is satanic. This verse has also been used for stuff like medications and all that are like affecting your body. Which once again, like, this verse, I feel like you could use that for something like alcohol or hard drugs. But this this reasoning is saying that every single thing that affects you at all, which I feel like is everything. Like even water now is bad, because like if you don't take enough water, it's going to hurt you. If you take too much, it's going to like hurt you. It's just it just goes back to there's the danger of when you just start throwing around Bible verses and just saying like I had a discussion the other day with a guy in at work, and I was talking about how there's things that I believe are bad, but it's from a common sense position. Like there's not a scripture I can quote from it, and I'm like, I don't think that it's if you do that thing, you're gonna go to hell or
Yeah.
whatever. But I'm like, I think that it still is not a wise decision to make. Um, but I was like, growing up, there are so many people that, for instance, NASCAR. I was told NASCAR is satanic because they race on Sunday and they have beer involved in the sport.
2 strikes.
This same person was like football. They have like bad people sing at the Super Bowl. It's bad. The same person, however, loved the Atlanta Braves. Now, Keith, I don't know if you're familiar with football, with baseball, but there's people that drink a lot of beer at these games.
Of course.
There's beer signs everywhere.
True.
And they also play on Sundays. So now this person had no problem telling me that I was following Satan for watching cars go around the racetrack. But at the same time, baseball, since they liked it, wasn't bad. And there's just these things come back to it to where people are like, well, I like this, so it can't be of Satan.
Yeah.
But this other thing I don't like, therefore, it's like you can't just say I don't like NASCAR. It's like I wish I could like NASCAR, but it's Satan.
Yeah. People, there's a strong urge because everybody has their own everybody has a standard to which they compare everything and decide whether it's good or bad, right? Everybody has something that says, I know what's good, I know what's bad, and this is how I compare everything. The sad truth of it is that some people, that standard is themselves and how they feel. Like, just like you said, well, based on the things that I feel like I've learned from the past, I believe that this is bad. I don't actually have to do any research. I don't actually have to consider anything because I feel it. I don't feel like the Braves are bad because I like them. You know, and so it's super dangerous for your standard of measurement to be like, if I said, I'm pretty sure my arm is a foot, or my forearm is a foot long, and that's how I measured everything. I didn't use a ruler, which I know is a foot long. I used my forearm. Everything I do is going to be a little bit off because my forearm isn't exactly, a foot long, but a ruler is. So people just get caught up. It's the same thing with the forks. Like, it's just a feeling whenever you have a standard with which you can measure things.
Now, finally, I was able to, I saved this for last. It was a list where a guy was like, this is the stuff you need to be aware of you want to not have the devil find you. So I had a list of a couple of 100 things. I just kind of picked out
a couple
handful
hundred
of things to kind of show you like how this list kind of went. So one of the first things he listed was demon worship. I think we can both get behind that. One of the worst things to do if you're trying to avoid Satan is to worship Satan.
Yep.
That's
no
good wisdom 101 for you people at home.
Yep.
So I'm gelling with that.
Yep.
I'm fine. I think that's something something can happen. Next up is dragons. I don't think that
I suppose my Dungeons and Dragons games probably would bother this person.
So I just know, even Satan aside, I'm not really being affected by dragons today. They're not stealing my livestock. They don't mess with me or my wife. But dragons, you need to, if you see a dragon, stay away from it because there's a good chance that Satan's lurking around. Next up is levitation. Once again, it's just not something that I'm coming across with a lot.
Chris Angel Mind Freak is in big trouble.
But if you see levitation, but he made clear, he was like, sleight of hand is not evil.
Okay.
So this guy, it's fine if you go to like a magic show.
But real levitation.
I just want to, this guy made it very clear that like a simple card trick is not satanic. He also did say playing cards can bring Satan.
Okay. Playing cards, but not playing with cards.
So if you're picking a card, you're fine. But if you're going all in like on poker,
might as well be going.
You're just, even if you're playing like a solitaire, I guess that's satanic because you're touching cards. Next up is amulets. These can include tiger's claws, shark's tooth, horseshoes, or mascots.
Brandon, I would have sworn that you said ambulance, and I was like, how in the world is an ambulance considered to be of the devil?
I enjoyed that it went from tiger claw. I'm like, I don't see that all the time.
Yeah.
I don't think you should be stealing a tiger's claw. Shark's tooth. I know a lot. Like, there's stores that sell shark tooths. So I guess they're shark teeth. So I guess they're satanic. Horseshoes, but mascots. So if you're at any sporting event or any amusement park and you see Donald Duck approaching you, you better get to stepping.
It might as well be the devil inside.
And birthdays. So cool. if you show up at a birthday party and there's someone dressed up like Pumbaa from like the Lion King, and there's another kid walking around with a shark tooth necklace, and you just so happen to see someone levitating over in the corner, you need to get out of there.
I was about to say that that sounds like the 39-year-old soccer mom answer is like, dang right, birthdays are of the devil. I'm not having a single more.
But it's just this list just shows you that it's like, demon worship that follows Satan. Like, this is a Christian writing this list. This is someone who claims to be like a very strong Christian and is just trying to help you in your everyday life. Because this guy was not selling me anything. Like, he didn't say, hey, here's only 300 for the entire list, buy my book. So this guy, the goodness of his heart, is saying, like, guys,
I'm just trying to help.
I one time knew a guy and he started hanging out with a dragon. Next thing I knew, the guy was levitating and had left the faith. Like, this guy is like a website too. And like, for those of you who have never created a website, it takes time and it takes money to have a website. So this guy is paying money to warn you that birthdays, mascots, dragons, levitation, amulets, like, they're all good. Satan is just trying to get you to go pick up a shark's tooth at the beach so that he can now, like, befriend you.
In the chance that
it's almost as if, like,
go ahead.
I was just thinking, like, it's like there's some like creepy guy who's like, I wish I had something in common with that girl so I could talk to. It's like, once again, he's just hiding like behind a surfboard at the beach, and he's dropped a couple of shark's tooth down, and like someone grabs one, he walks up and he's like, oh, you like shark? You like collecting shark's teeth? I do too. I'm Satan. Like, it goes back to, like, if we're to believe that he is just this like creator of evil and all, it just, why is it this thing where it's like, it's so cartoonish that it's like, hey, if you see someone levitating, it's probably Satan. If you see someone in a mascot's costume,
it probably is. But Brandon, I believe we've sufficiently scared our audience, wherever they may be, enough today. Probably, would you say?
I think we've done it.
Wonderful. Well, some notes: stay away. No birthday parties. Like Brandon said, stay away from dragons. If you are currently levitating, please stop. We do not want that kind of evil on our channel. As well as finishing up, just do not actively worship Satan, and you'll probably be good to go with those things. Very excited to have been able to make another video for you guys. Brandon is doing his own NASCAR things over at Armchair Race Fan on YouTube, as well as NASCAR Every Day on Instagram, and I am currently doing my own thing, Tank Media Games on Twitch and YouTube and all the social medias as well. So we're doing our own separate things, kind of. We're still constantly trying to work on things together, see what kind of projects we can get going, and hopefully we'll be able to have something for you soon. But just know that we are still doing things, and don't worry, we're still good, tight, best buds. You know, don't worry about that. Don't y'all worry about that. We're gonna be all right. You got anything else, Brandon?
I want to point out that I feel like on this entire list, just don't worship Satan. That's your takeaway. For everything on this list, you can drink your coffee, use your fork. Levitating's a little iffy. Yeah, just don't outright worship Satan.
Don't do it. If you do, don't tell us about it. we will see you next time we see you. Please remember, we love you very much. Bye bye.